Welcome back to Maui, Mallard, and Cold Shadow. Looks like Maui found himself in some hot water. Let's see how he gets himself out of it this time in level 4. And welcome to level 4, the active volcano. So the Mudrakes didn't really appreciate us defeating their champion like that, so they quote-unquote honored us by throwing us into a volcano. I guess you could say that we are virgin sacrifice, but we'll leave that kind of stuff to Maui's discretion. So this level doesn't feature too many enemies, it's mostly just platforming, and the only enemies in this level are the Fire Spirit, who drinks some sort of chemical mixture to spit fireballs, and if you attack him, he sends out a flaming counterattack that will home in on you. You can dodge it, but it's really hard to do so. It's a lot easier to dodge if it's below you, so that way you can just jump over it. If it's arching over you, if you duck, it doesn't really matter because it'll just come around and hit you in the bum. Also, there are fire bats, which they function like a less obnoxious insect from the 3rd level, so they're not too much of a threat, and the only time they're annoying is whenever you need to swing from a point to point, because they get in the way a lot. So this level has 2 extra platforming mechanics, the first one being the bubbles, which you can use to jump higher, and the, what I'm gonna call the wind tunnels. I don't exactly know what to describe them as, but for this part of the level, they mostly are used as transitions to different sections of this stage. But in the next one, they are used as a means to speed you up. So out of the 2 versions, I kind of like the background in this version a lot more because it makes the volcano look a lot roomier. The Mega Drive version kind of makes it seem like it's a constant flow of lava. You'll get to see that when we get there. And now it's time for the boss. Yeah, that's right, we get to fight the boss right at the end of stage 1. It's the lava serpent, I guess. So this boss is, in my opinion, the absolute worst boss out of all the bosses that got ported over to this version of the game. It's mostly because all it really does is splash lava all over the place, and the arena design is just this one little island where you just sit there and try to hit it a bunch of times, and it's mostly terrible. It takes longer than your average boss, so you have to sit through this for a while, especially when you have to hit him one last time, because that's when his hitbox is the smallest. And that's all I have to say about this boss. It's pretty much awful, and you're going to see how much better it is in the Mega Drive version. And once he's down, all we have to do is jump on that bubble and hit that wind tunnel, and we're out of there. Alright, now it's time for Stage 2, and Stage 2 is an auto-scrolling section. But, despite that, it's probably my favorite section out of the entire level and the entire game, because it involves nothing but swinging. Swinging for days. So the section's really short, but it really shows off everything I love about this game, in terms of platforming. So the lava's supposed to chase you as you climb up the volcano, but for this stage, for whatever reason, the lava moves at a snail's pace. It literally will not catch up to you if you work at a reasonable pace. I mean, the only way that the lava will catch up to you is if you, I don't know, just stand there for a minute or so. But other than that, you're pretty much fine. From the best part to the worst part, it's Stage 3. This is the absolute worst part of the entire game. It is probably the biggest brick wall that every new player is going to hit, mostly because it's also a auto-scrolling section, but in this section, the lava is directly below you, and it's pushing you up, and you have to ride this rock all the way to the top. So it doesn't seem bad at first, but let's take a look at what happens if I don't do this section right. Yeah, that's most of your deaths right there. The biggest problem with this level is that if you bump into anything, you're pretty much guaranteed to die, because those corners are really tight to turn, and by the time you recover from bumping into something, you're pretty much already squished by that point, and it's not that great, and it's awful. I didn't find out about this until after I was done recording this level. You can raise and lower the lava by hitting up and down, but I tried it and it feels a lot worse. In fact, I think it makes this entire section almost unplayable if you try that. So I recommend just don't do that. Just stick to turning the tight corners at the level that it gives you. And that's pretty much the entire section of this level. This part kind of does branch it off into different sections, but ultimately they're mostly just for either an extra life or one or two extra treasures. And if you're just, trying to grab all the treasures in the open areas where you're allowed to breathe, then you should be fine. that's level 4. I hope you join me for the next one. See ya.